Sometimes we wait for God. The whole time he's waiting for us. If you watch my From Six Figures to Zero video, I explained that last year the Holy Spirit knocked on my door and was like, look, you're going to be zeroed out. You're going to reach a place that the only thing that you have is me, meaning God, and your belief. That's it. Those are the only things that you can hang your hat on. Those are the only things that you can really just cling on to. And I'm sorry I have to do this to you, but I'm not sorry. So I'm just going to tell you up front so you can prepare yourself as best you can, but it's coming. And that time came, right? It was last month that I looked at our bank account and we literally did not have enough, period. We had $316 in our account. And our bills, honey, our bills are way past that, okay? So I know I had gotten to a point where I was becoming so anxious, I was having dreams about what was going on in my daily life. What I realized is that I've reached this point. I've reached the point that God promised I would be in. Now I have the opportunity and I have the choice to decide whether I am going to remain in this fearful stance or I am going to rest on my belief. Because what you told me was that I would come to a point where all I had was you and my belief. And you wanted it that way because you wanted to show me when you have nothing else, you always have me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take you up on this offer. I'm gonna take you up on it. And I'm gonna believe. I'm gonna believe that you're gonna come through. And I'm not gonna move. I refuse to move. That is the stance that I took. I stood firm on what it is that I decided. My husband and I talked and we made a decision that we were going to trust. We were going, no matter what it looked like, no matter the days that were passing by, we were going to trust and believe what it is that he had promised us, that he would see us through, even if it was on a day-to-day basis. Because I remember when God woke me up and told me that. It's just like, look, before we even entered into this space, we were getting ready to enter into it, but it was before we fully entered into this space that he woke me up and was like, look, Christina, it's gonna get hard, but I tell you, I promise you that even if it's on a day-to-day basis, I've got you covered. I am going to look after you. I stood on that. Whenever things were coming up, whenever anxiety started to creep in, whenever we started to get worried, we would just spit his words back to him. You told me that you would never leave me. You told me that you would take care of me. You told me that your words don't return back void. You told me I'm powerful. You told me that if I ask you and I seek you, that I would find it. And you told me that if I believe, then I would receive it. You told me that nothing is off limits to me. You told me that anything is possible with you. Those are the things that I started speaking and that my husband started speaking. Whenever things would come up, we just constantly like we were going toe to toe with what it is that we felt. When those thoughts came up, when the doubts, when the worries came up, we were fighting back. We were like, all right, this is a fight. So as I punched my ones and my twos and my combos, those were all a mixture of what you've told me. And I'm standing on it. It's loud, but hopefully you can still hear me. That's what we stood on. And I am here to tell you that he came through. We have this little prayer box, and look, if you tried everything else and nothing seemed to work, try that. I wrote scriptures that really stood out to me, that comforted me, that made me feel like God's got my back, that made me feel like nothing was off limits, that made me feel like there was nothing that I could not do or I couldn't accomplish. It made me feel like I was prosperous. So I wrote those things all over the box, And then my husband and I just would look, whenever things would come to our mind, and whenever an anxious thought came, or whenever we started to worry about something, I think we wrote it down. And we just deposited it in that box. We would, in the morning or throughout the day, if we felt anything, or we just walked past the prayer box, sometimes I would just shake it up, and then I would put my hand into it and pull out one of the things that we wrote, and I would read it, and I would just say thank you. Thank you for paying our bills. Thank you that we have more than enough. Thank you that we're debt free. I know I had asked for, just this past month, $4,000. I asked for $4,000. And I remember pulling that out of the box, and I was like, Lord, thank you for $4,000 for November. Thank you that it's already ours. Thank you that it's on its way. And I deposited it back and just kept on going about my day. And there were other things that I pulled out the box. It was another one that I was like, thank you that our bills are paid this month. Thank you that we have more than enough than we need to pay our bills. It's November 13th, and all of our bills have been paid. All of them. Nothing is in limbo. Nothing hasn't been paid. And not only that, we have money left over. We got that $4,000 plus. Where did it come from? We had $316 at the beginning of this. And mind you, my husband, he quit his job. Y'all know what position I'm in. It wasn't us. It didn't come from us. But yeah, everything is paid for. So I'm moving into December with that same type of energy. I'm moving into December acting like I own December and I own every other month. Because one of the things that I really want to go into more detail with, and I'll probably do that maybe tomorrow or the next day, I don't know, is identity. One of the things that I realize is that, oh my gosh, I talk so much about purpose. I talk so much about the fact that we're limitless and this, that, and the other, and how we need to change our thoughts and we really need to believe. And I stood on that and I saw the power of our belief. But that's a really hard thing to do when we don't know who we are. When our identity hasn't yet shifted to the person that God has called us to be and the people that God has created us to be. It's hard to imagine that nothing is off limits, that anything that you can think of, it is possible to you if you don't know who you are. A big portion of that is in knowing that I'm connected with God. Not only am I connected with Him, I'm an heir to the throne, honey. Everything that He can do, I can do because His power runs through me. I am His child. We are one. I am a part of Him. And if you're a part of something, you are that whole. Like the whole of something. I am a human being. I birthed a part of me that is a human being. You can't come from the whole and not be of it. Like you are that. You are God. Like God is in you. You are Him. He is you. You guys are intertwined. There is no separation. So when you really accept that and identify with that, and you come to grasp with that notion, that is something that when it comes to these things that you want, it's going to start seeming like that's nothing to me. To just have my bills paid for a month. What? That's nothing to me. That's nothing to God. To get this car that I want, that's nothing to me. That's nothing to God. To have a successful business, that's nothing to me. And that's nothing to God. To have this house that I've been wanting, that's nothing to me. And that's nothing to God. These things are going to become so within reach to you that the more you walk in it, the more you identify with it, the more you come to terms with it, nothing is going to be off limits to you. I was reading something today that talked about Jesus and His walk and how because He accepted what God said about Him. He accepted the fact that God loved Him. He accepted the fact that He was God's child. He was so powerful. He had authority. And He experienced a level of freedom that I know a lot of us are striving for here. But that came with accepting who God said he was. A lot of us haven't accepted that. And then even when we're reading it, it's like, oh, that sounds nice. It's nice and warm and fuzzy, but I don't know. I've done so much. I've made so many mistakes. I'm not sure. Is he proud of me? Is this something that is still true? I don't know. Like, even when he's told me to move, I've questioned, I've doubted, I've worried, I've been anxious, and I haven't quite done everything that he's told me to do. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's going to have my back in this. I don't know if nothing is off limits to me, because I haven't been who he's actually called me to be. I haven't stayed right on the path. And I'm going to let you know, God doesn't care about that. That does not make him waver on whether he's going to love you or not, whether he's going to take care of you or not, whether things are off limits to you. Just because you've made a mistake, just because you haven't done everything right in the past, and just because you're not going to do everything right in the future, does not take away your seat at the throne. Your seat at the throne is etched in stone. You are there. You are there, seated right beside him. He's there, he's got it, and you've got it too. He's like, look, nothing is off limits to you. Everything that I own, you own too. Everything that is mine is yours. There is not some specific strategic way that you have to get it. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to cross your T's and dot your I's for it. You don't have to be perfect for it. There is nothing that you have to do. Just you being you. You inherited everything that is his because he created you, because he loves you that much. And it's just like, sometimes we cannot fully wrap our head around this truly unconditional love that he has for us until you put him to the test. Like, it's great that you read about this thing in the Bible. It's great that you might hear about other people's stories. It's great that you're listening to me and you hear my story, but that may not do it for you. For me, I had to see it on my own. And one of the things that I had heard, and this has been ringing in my head over and over and over again, it was a doctor, and it has nothing to do with this, but it was a doctor that was talking about fasting and the benefits of fasting. And one thing that she said really stood out to me. She said, be your own experiment. And honey, I took that and I ran with it. That is the day that I said, you know what, God, I'm going to be my own experiment. You prove to me. I'm going to put you to the test. Just as you said in your word, put me to the test. I am putting you to the test, honey. What you said will not come back to me void. And if you're saying that I'm powerful, if you're saying that I'm connected with you and nothing is off limit, then I can tell this mountain to move and it shall move. So I told those mountains of bills to move. And I told God, look, okay, we're already in November, but you know, I'm never late. I'm never late on my payments. So I expected to be here on time, and it was here on time. I was not late for anything. I am telling you, if you are going through a hard time, if you are struggling, if you are worrying, if you are doubting, if you are questioning whether you are capable of doing the things that he's called you to do, if you're questioning whether you've got enough, let me tell you, you have everything that you need. Whether it may not seem like it or not, you have every single thing that you need right inside of you. You have access to the dollars. You have access to that house. That house that you've been wanting is already yours. That job that you've been wanting is already yours. Those kids that you've been wanting are already yours. That husband or wife that you've been wanting is already yours. Everything that you need is yours already, but you've got to be bold enough to walk in it. You've got to be bold enough to say those prayers. You've got to be bold enough to say, Lord, you said that I was the lender, not the borrower. I'm the head, not the tail. Honey, I say things and I declare it as true, and it is. It is so. You told me that if I believe, so shall I receive. You told me that to the measure of my faith, you shall give to me. You said it's better to give. You told me that I will have the capacity to give. You told me that if I do give, you will rain back to me a blessing that I cannot even, I can't even keep in. It's so much. You told me that I was abundant. You told me that I had prosperity written all over me. Those are the things that we've got to truly accept, that this is who he's talking about. Those visions that I've seen, those things that I felt deep down in my heart, those promises that I felt that you were talking to me while I was reading my Bible, while I was reading this quote on Instagram, while I was reading this book, this thing stood out to me and I felt like you were talking to me. Those are the quiet whispers. Those are the taps on the shoulders. Those are the reminders of who you are and what you are capable of and what God has promised you. But it's you that has to take those things as truth. It's you that has to accept those things. It's you that has to clothe yourself in it. That's on you. God is there and he is just raining down every single thing that you've asked for, all the blessings that he has. And this helped me to think about it like this. God is here and he's just pouring out blessing after blessing after blessing. And we're continually asking and we're wanting. And that's fine that you're desiring, but you've got to understand, and I've said this before, that once those things leave your lips, he knows, even before they leave your lips, okay? He's already got those things because he placed the desire in you. He knows what you want. He knows what you desire. He knows what you need. So you don't even have to ask, but we do ask because we believe that our ask is acknowledged. We believe that he hears us. We believe that he's going to answer us. So we ask, and we ask with that in the back that we know. But once those things leave your lips, it's in his ears, right? And he says, okay, order up. I am pouring it down. I am pouring it down to you. But the more that we question, we doubt, we fear, we wonder how it's going to work. We wonder if we're worthy of receiving the things that we've asked him for. We wonder whether we've worked hard enough to receive those. We wonder if we're, I don't know, have I stayed on the right path? Are you going to bless me? I'm not sure. Are you proud of me? The more we question and doubt those things, it's like our hands are becoming closed. And you know, with my hands like this, I can't receive anything. If you could try all you want to try and give me something and to place something in my hands, but as long as my hands are like this, it's not getting in. No matter what you do, you can lay it on it, you can put it beside it, you can rain down. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm not willing to open my hands, you're not going to get inside. And that's what you've got to realize, and that's what we have to start looking at it as, is that he's raining these things down, but our door is closed. Our door is closed when we're involved in these things, when we're questioning these things, when we're doubting whether we're worthy enough, when we're not accepting the fact that he just loves us. And this is what an heir to the throne receives. This is my birthright. If we're not thinking along these lines, then we're keeping that door closed. But the belief, the acceptance, that's the key to opening up that door. And once you open up that door, it's no waiting. The blessings are pouring down. They're just waiting on you. Sometimes we wait for God. The whole time he's waiting for us. He's like, look, I'm doing it. I'm ready. I'm willing. I am pouring down what it is that you want. But you're not allowing me to move in your life. You're not allowing me to give to you like I want to give. You're not allowing me to be big in your life like I want to be big. You got to move out the way. You got to move out the way and you got to open the door. But the key, you gotta unlock it first. What I relied on heavily during the first part of November, when I asked those things from God and I was experiencing a lot of anxiety, is that I started meditating. But I did a specific meditation for me of just where I just was saying, I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to receive all that you have for me. And I would just imagine myself with a closed fist, just opening it. And I would even do it while I was meditating. It's just like, look, I receive every single thing that you have for me. Lord, nothing is off limits with you. And I thank you for delivering on what it is that you've promised me. I thank you for delivering what it is that I've asked you for. I thank you for making a way out of no way. I thank you that I can move mountains. And all the things that I would constantly say back to God when I was in that anxious state is the same things that I would go through in my meditation, but I would just visualize it. So I wasn't necessarily talking, but I would visualize those things happening. I would visualize him paying my bills. I would visualize him raining down stuff and me just opening my hands and just getting everything and just feeling it on my head all the way down to my feet, just covered in the things that I've asked for. So that can help. That can help, and I know that helped me. So I encourage you to try it as well. Just sit. I know sometimes we have an issue being still, especially when things are happening around us. But I encourage you to be still, even if it's for just 5 minutes, even if it's for 2 minutes, even if it's for 1 minute, honey. Just do that and visualize these things that you're asking coming to fruition. Visualize your excitement. Visualize you're overwhelmed with gratitude. Feel gratitude for the things that you already have. Start opening up your hands, opening up that door. Whatever helps you to visualize those, allowing those things to come in, visualize them, okay? And thank him for what's already been done, what he's already done in your life, regardless of whether you can see it or not. I'm telling you, this physical reality that we're in has to catch up to our spiritual reality. The spiritual reality, everything has already been done. Everything that you want, everything that you desire, everything that you've asked for, it's already done. It's already been written. That success that you want in your business has already been written. The things that you've seen yourself having, it's already been written. That's why you see yourself having it. It's there. You just got to wait for everything else to catch up. While you're waiting for it to catch up, these are the things that you can do in the meantime. This is how you can stand firm on what it is that you believe, and showing and demonstrating to God that I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I'm taking you for your word. We've got to understand that being in connection with him, when I say that there's nothing off limits, there's nothing off limits. So, and the things that he's capable of, we're capable of too. The same power that's running through him, I'm going to say it again, it runs through us. So when we're saying about God, and we're quick to say that, and that's come up a lot during this month, is that when God says a word, when he says a promise, what he says and what he speaks does not come back to him void. But you've got to understand that that is the same thing for you. So that's why we've got to be very careful on the things that we allow to leave out of our mouths. Because these words that we speak, they don't just land on deaf ears. They don't just go out and just like, okay, all right, whatever. They don't return to us void either. So when we speak with power, speak with knowing, speak with understanding, speak with that acceptance that I am an heir to his throne. I am limitless. Speak with authority because you have it. Okay? I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to get that off of my chest for tonight. This is the thing that's been weighing heavy on me. So I was like, Lord, I got you. Say less. I'm going to get down here and I'm going to talk, okay? So this is what I got. Hopefully that helped you in some way, shape, or form. And if it did, you know what I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask for you to like, to share, and to comment. Tell me how it helped you. Tell me how you're going to use this. Tell me if you used it, if it helps you when you use it. Please do that, because I've said this in another video and I'm going to say it over and over and over again. The more that we share our stories, the more that we lean into this vulnerability of showing that, hey, I can learn from somebody else. Other people can learn from me. I share my story and you glean from me, and you share yours and I glean from you. The more we realize how powerful we are, one, and then two, how much reach we actually have. Sometimes we get stuck in our little silos and we think that, oh, little old me, I'm not making much of a difference. You know, yeah, I would like to share this, or you did move mountains in my life for this, but you know, people have had it on a way bigger scale than me. You know, man, I'm not making millions of dollars. Who's going to listen to me? Man, I don't have this business that's doing amazing things and helping people all over the globe. I don't even have a business. Who's gonna listen to me? I haven't really done much. I'm a 9-to-5 worker. I'm not doing much. Or I just started working. I just graduated college. I'm in college. I'm in high school. Whatever, all of those excuses that we may have, please, that don't mean anything. You are important. You are valuable, and your experiences are valuable too, because they're connected to you, and because the way that you experience your things that you're going through in your journey is unlike anybody else's experience. So you think differently than I do. You think differently than everybody else. And there are different ways that you may see things that I don't see. And because of that, you sharing your story, I can learn from you, because now I've seen a different perspective, because I'm looking at it through my glasses, my Christina glasses. You may be looking through your Lauren glasses or your Ted glasses, whatever it may be, but the way that you see things is different than me. So I need you just as much as you need me. So I encourage you to share your story. If you've been led to write a book, to share your story through video, or doing a blog, or starting a YouTube channel, whatever it is, stop allowing things to hold you back, honey. Let it go. Be free. Do you. People need what it is that you have. God has placed the things in you for a reason, because he knows who you can touch, and he's very efficient in what he does. He does not make mistakes. You were not a mistake. The things that have been laid on your heart are not a mistake. You are enough for exactly what he's called you to do. Share your story. Share the things that move you, and don't be ashamed or afraid to do so. So with that, I'm gonna cut it off, y'all, because I'm gonna keep going. It's a whole sermon for me. Let me know how this has touched you, and feel free to share it, like it, and I will see you next time.